Hi, Brian. How you doing today?
Good, Jameis. Excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. For those who haven't met you, it'd be great if you don't mind just taking a couple of moments just to describe who you are and your expertise and your focus in commerce.
Sure thing, Jameis. Again, thanks for having me. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Brian Beck. I've been in the e-commerce field for, 22 years. I'm the author of this book, Billion Dollar B2B E-commerce. I'm also a partner in Master B2B, as Thought Leadership Series, and I own an Amazon consultancy focusing on B2B companies called Enciba. So that's me, Jameis.
Then that sets you up well for the question I wanted to ask you, which is, certainly this past year has been a time of change.
Yeah.
What change have you seen in the B2B world?
There's really one word, Jameis. It's urgency, right? I interviewed for this book. I interviewed about 100 companies, and this was pre-pandemic. And a lot of what I heard historically was that sort of business was just good enough. It wasn't necessary to embrace the uncomfortableness of digital transformation, of launching e-commerce, right? So just enough profit, just enough growth. But COVID changed all that, and today, it's just there's so much urgency I see from businesses of all types, manufacturers, distributors across industries. When I did these interviews for the book a few years ago, I would hear reasons not to do e-commerce. I would hear, hey, I can't face channel conflict, or my sales team's going to push back. That's different now. I'm seeing action everywhere, and that's really, quite frankly, very exciting. And I'm sure you're seeing it too.
Yeah, we are for certain. A customer gave me a quote the other day, which I really appreciated, which was, I said, well, how's COVID been for you? And, after the past year, and they said, COVID hasn't really brought us anything that we didn't know was coming eventually, but it's certainly changed the timetable. And I mean, it sounds like across the board, we always knew that digital was going to be sort of at the core of the business, and B2B was going to be at the core, and the processes for that were so important to growth. And now what we're seeing, though, is the urgency to do it now, as you say. And that's really exciting. And it's leading to a great time of innovation in the industry. So certainly see what you're seeing.
Yeah, I'm seeing it everywhere, Jameis. I mean, and just I went back and I looked at the last 2 weeks, preparing for our discussion today, our quick talk. I looked at companies that, I looked at who I've been speaking with, and, it ranges in size from these big multinational global companies that for years didn't digitally enable their sales team, didn't have any e-commerce capabilities. And now are scrambling, quite frankly, to catch up, all the way to small, 20, $30 million distributors who are just introducing e-commerce to their constituents, their customers. And it's an exciting time. And I really do think the companies that are taking action now still have time to succeed with e-commerce. And frankly, those who are prepared ahead of time are winning market share like crazy. So I'm seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting couple of years ahead of us. I mean, the other thing that we're also seeing as well in this is the lines of demarcation between B2B and B2C and B2B2C and marketplaces, and all of those things are blurring very, very quickly. And, it just speaks to great times ahead for all of us in the industry as we enter this next major phase of growth.
Well, we saw it in the consumer marketplace, right? With, companies like Sears and JCPenney's and others didn't act quickly enough. You have now the same opportunity. There's a precedent here. And, I like to say, don't be the Sears of B2B, right? Take action, right? It's really what's happened is the ultimate customer, the folks who are the buyer, the end user of the product, now have more power than they ever have. We saw it in consumer. It's happening in B2B. And companies that are in the manufacturing business, in the distribution business, need to recognize it, look carefully at the value they provide to that end customer, and take action to get closer to that customer and make sure they're delivering the right level of value to the customer. And e-commerce and digital enablement of all your selling channels is the way to do it. And COVID taught us that you can't rely on the salesperson knocking on the door as much as you used to. So not that that's going away, but it needs to be digitally enabled, that channel.
For certain. Well, terrific points. Really appreciate you coming on, sharing your perspective, and look forward to the months and years ahead as we go through a whole new era of change and growth for us.
No doubt. Thanks, Jameis.
You're welcome.